Hi Cancer, welcome to your December 2021 reading. Yeah, the energy's been crazy, basically. The Sun and Mars and Mercury are all going to be transiting your house of health and daily activities and work and organization. And also the solar eclipse that we had yesterday was really ending some patterns for you, ending some cycles of bad habits. If you've noticed in the last year and a half that you have started bad habits again, or you've had to keep on pulling yourself out of bad habits, this is kind of like the end of that cycle, and you've probably learned your lesson by now. And if that hasn't been happening for the last year and a half, then there was probably this big rush of like any kind of bad habit from the past may have like reared its ugly head and came in like really, really fast. They may be harder to break this time around, so be really, really careful. This would be a good time for you to reorganize your routine or start a new ritual, a new health ritual even. Just something that would be good for your morale. That would be a really good thing for you right now. And you may also see some changes happening at work. I wouldn't necessarily say that it would be like the ending of a job, but it might be if you don't feel like you've been recognized for the job that you've been doing. We also have Venus starting retrograde on the 19th of December in Capricorn. So this is happening just opposite the house of Cancer. So in your relationship sector, this really will be something, it's like a make it or break it kind of thing for relationships. You're going to really be able to tell, and actually like right now, bless you, right now, what you're really going to be able to tell is with this Venus conjunct Pluto that's happening right now, it's sort of a clue as to what's going to be happening for the Venus retrograde and giving us an idea of the way things are going to have to change. You may be visited from relationships from the past. You may be visited by wounds of relationships from the past. And like making sure that you're investing in yourself and you're not allowing yourself to fall back into old ways of, that old narrative that maybe, the narrative was like, maybe you're not good enough or something like that. So you're changing that. This is going to be a way for you to reassess how you do relationships with other people, partnerships with other people. Be really, really discerning during this time for sure. I wouldn't necessarily start a new relationship or get married or like getting gay. Like I just wait until January 29th or after January 29th, and then you can do all of the big commitment stuff. I mean, I guess if you already have your wedding planned, but don't do like a fast, like, don't meet somebody and then get married. It happens. I wouldn't have to say it if it never happened. You know that people do that all the time. So you guys also have Jupiter in Pisces, and this is going to be in your house of expansion, in your house of higher learning. And Jupiter is very comfortable in this house. So because Jupiter rules the ninth house. Lots of motivation to expand your knowledge. I feel like some of you are going to be going back to school or starting new classes. There's something like including, especially if it would be big around like a spiritual pursuit. Like if you decided to take like astrology classes, or if you decide to learn tarot or Reiki, like became a Reiki master or something during Jupiter and Pisces transit. Jupiter will be in Pisces until May of 2022, and then be in Aries for a few months, and then end the year in Pisces from October to December. This is the second time Jupiter's been in Pisces this year. So if you think back to May of this year, May to July, you can kind of see what it was that you were being prepared for this Jupiter and Pisces transit. You may have recognized, oh wow, I'm really, really into this astrology thing. You may have gone through an awakening, a spiritual awakening. Some of you may have hit that spiritual awakening side of things, and all of a sudden now you're like, wow, there's so many things about life I did not know, and now I just want to learn it all. And so you're like trying to get in all of the information that you can. This transit is going to be really good for stuff like that. Traveling would be really good with this transit. As we hopefully, fingers crossed, things get better around the globe. You can do some long distance traveling. That would be really beneficial. You could even move cross country or across the world. But really exploring and expanding your interests are super favored. You may feel really restless. If you don't give yourself the opportunity to expand in some way, whether you're learning something new or you're moving locations or whatever, shifting and expanding your energy in any way, you're going to get super restless and probably be annoyed. Seriously, you could actually be really annoyed. All right. Let's look at some cards. Okay. Oh, yeah. Nice. I've had the World and the Tower and like all of those really great endings of things and endings of cycles and evolution, like promised evolution. That's coming up with just about everybody's readings. So this is a really great time for you guys. The World was the first card that came out. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles. And we have the King of Swords. And then the Four of Pentacles. Let's get a couple more cards, but talk about these. So you're definitely ending a cycle. It may be something about your work or about the way that you do your work. There's an air sign involved, and there's really something that has a lot to do about your money. Budgeting would be a really good thing right now for you with that Venus retrograde in the 6th house. But there's this fear, it almost feels like, that you have to hold on to certain things in your life, or maybe even have to save money or hold on to money. But there's this desire, you want more. And maybe you're coming out as the King of Swords or the King of Pentacles. Like you're the King of Pentacles and then you have the King of Swords here. But there's a desire for something more. If you're dealing with an air sign or an earth sign, I feel like you want more from this person or from this experience. Like, I feel like some of you are going to be asking for a raise. Some of you at work are going to be asking for a raise. And I don't want you to be stingy. Like, you have been doing this Eight of Pentacles shows you right here that you have learned a lot and you've come to the end of a cycle of learning. And it's time for you to expand yourselves more. There's no more monotony that you can handle. And so this Four of Pentacles is suggesting that you need to really like remember who you are. Also, like say you're an entrepreneur. If you're an entrepreneur, make sure that whatever services or products or anything that you have that you're putting out there, make sure you are valuing them at the amount of your self-worth, whatever kind of energy that you put into making them, whatever time, energy, love, Reiki, whatever it is that you do with your products, you have to make sure that you're getting the value out of them as well. So This Four of Pentacles is like, don't be stingy with yourself. Really, really don't be stingy with yourself. I feel like you could get stuck if you allow yourself to be stingy during this time with your own self. You could get stuck in that, and I don't want you to do that. The Page of Cups. The Page of Cups for me is always like a longing or a desire. And maybe it's that your desire, you're longing for this raise, and maybe you've been waiting for it for a really long time, and you're like, I've done 8 of Pentacles. I've done every single thing that I was told to do. It's time. I deserve this, right? But it could also be that maybe somebody owes you money too. And you're like, okay, I've been waiting for this to get here and I really need it now. So there's some kind of an ending of a cycle that's going to be happening, and you've worked really, really hard to get to the end of this cycle. And so I don't want you to skimp yourself. Like, don't short yourself in this moment. But also I want you to remember that the energy of desire or longing or neediness or pining in any way, shape, or form is going to block your blessings. It's okay to want something to happen, but it's almost as if we give it an expectation when we do this, like, oh my God, I just really, really need this. It's like you're almost telling the universe that it's like nothing else will do ever, right? And so you're really restricting yourself and blocking yourself. What if the universe has better plans for you and you're not allowing that to happen because you're being so tunnel visioned about what you want things to happen, how you want to see it happening? That can be a really big blockage to manifestations. And so really opening yourself up to the entire process, and that's what Sagittarius season is all about. And as we move into Capricorn season and we get through this retrograde and all of that, your relationships really are going to be kind of spotlighted. So really make sure that you're receiving that kind of worthiness also. Like if you're doing all the work in that relationship, that needs to end. You need to be able to have that same reciprocity toward coming back to you. Breadcrumbs are no longer a thing. It's like the whole loaf of bread, homemade, better be presented wrapped up in a red bow. You see what I'm saying? Like, right? And yeah, that's a process. And knowing your own self-worth, because if you can't see it in yourself, you're not going to see it when somebody does that for you, or does things for you that are worthy of you. I don't know how many times I've heard the stories of like girls just being assholes to really nice guys. And that's just because those girls did not see their own worthiness. And these guys those guys did see their worthiness. Like it happens all the time, and vice versa. Happens all the time with girls see the worthiness in men and men don't see it, and they screw up the relationship. So it happens a lot, but that's why it's so important to know and be able to stand your own ground. So I love you guys. Excited to do the extended. If you would like to see the clarification of all of this and then the bottom of the deck, you can go to become a member or head over to Patreon and get the video there. That's all in the description box. I love you guys. Have a wonderful holiday season, a safe new year, and hopefully I'll see you in the extended. Bye.